It's about nothing but the time. Blitz, Bama, blitz.
Give me Alabama to break.
If when somebody takes what's yours, and this is our game, it's our game. So let's make this shit personal.
Hey, let's make it personal, baby. We in here tonight, baby. Sunday night talking Bama. Almost said Saturday night. That was going to be a hiccup. But my man, JT in here, JB in here, Stephen M. Smith. We got my man, the Dawgfather, JT, number 2 JT, however you want to call it, UGA JT. So we got my man in here tonight. If y'all don't know who this is, man, on TikTok, it is it's the_dog_father, correct? Is that the app?
That is correct. That's where we're at.
Boom, that's the app for my man. His TikToks are amazing. His lives are amazing, guys. So we're gonna before we get into everything though, we gotta get a shout out to these sponsors. And first for our main sponsors, Workspace Pros tonight, guys. That's who we're sponsored by. For all your digital presence needs, their full-fledged marketing team, SEO and more, they're who you need to contact today, guys. Right here at the bottom, workspacepros.com. JB, I need that good Bama standing tonight. Woo! Who else we sponsored by?
Woo! You already see it and you know who it is, baby. If you're going to Tuscaloosa this Saturday, we are 6 days away from the game of the season so far. So if you're coming to T-Town, get you a title towel. Go to whitwillsports.com. Use the promo code STANDARD. Get you a nice discount courtesy of your favorite Bama network, the Bama Standard.
Hey, so I'm gonna chop that up, man, and put that in there. And I'm gonna put that in the new intro I make for them. I'm gonna put the Bama Standard. I'm gonna put that in the backdrop.
That's how you say it.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. We got my man, none the other, Stephen M. Smith, in here tonight, man. How you doing, brother, man?
I'm good, man. As JB said, this is the week right here. This is the week we get to see some coaches earn these paychecks, right?
Hey.
We get to see Kirby Smart. Can he come into Saban Field and do something? We get to see Kane and the board let the Alabama nation know he was truly the right hire by Greg Burns. So this upcoming week, we're going to see quite a few questions answered in Tuscaloosa.
Quite a few of them. I love to hear that, too. Like you just said, for both teams, it's going to be a question. Speaking of questions and answers, guests, viewers, leave some comments for us, guys. We're going to pin these comments. We're going to double back at the back of the show. We're going to answer questions. So if you have a question, drop it. We'll come back to it. So let's kick it off tonight. My man, the Dawgfather, going to lead us off. Our first time the other night, guys. Yes, sir. So how critical is this game? What a win means for each team, what a loss means for each team. So we're going to let my man, our guest tonight, go ahead, give us the Georgia perspective real quick. What does a win mean and what does a loss mean? And then we'll talk about the SEC and college football as a part 2 after that.
First of all, guys, I do appreciate you for having me on. It is an honor to be over here. Game week against the University of Alabama, blue blood program, just proud to be able to take on you guys. Always has been, still going to continue to be the same. I always get the question, what is Alabama going to be without Nick Saban? Let me tell you something. Alabama is Alabama, all right? That's what they are. That's what we know over here at Athens. I had 2 things that I thought about when Kalen DeBoer was named as the head coach over there. Number 1, could he keep the majority of the team together? Now, we know there were a couple of transfers here and there. We know one, I won't mention his name, that went up to Ohio State.
Yeah.
But, we'll let that go. But 2, could he recruit in the footprint of the South against the Kirby Smarts, against the Steve Sarkisians, those guys? The last time I checked, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, I think Alabama is still sitting, 1 or 2 in the composite rankings right now? So those questions are answered. So now all he had to do was put it on the field. I saw the Wisconsin game. I'm not going to say Wisconsin is a measurement, but my goodness, what I saw was Alabama football. That's what I saw.
And on the road. And we haven't played good with Nick Saban on the road lately the past couple of years. You can track that back on all them road games. So, yeah, you're right, man.
Now, to get back to your question, how critical I think this game is. Look, if we're talking last year, I'm thinking it is ultra critical. But this year, with a 12-team playoff, the fact that we're playing this early, I don't see it as a make or break for either Alabama or Georgia. Number one, I want to win every game. Alabama wants to win every game. I get that. But because it's so early, there's so much season left after this, I don't think it's one of those where it's one of those quote-unquote must-wins at the top of the season. I think both programs are going to be great, and I'll go ahead and give you my hot take right now. I don't care. Georgia and Alabama are playoff teams, and that's the end of the story.
I agree. I agree 100%. I had this conversation at work. My boss is a huge Georgia fan, and I was like, it's not a make or break game, man, but it's like more of a braggers game, I think, more than anything. It's a brag game or a where you stand at right now game. So yeah, I'm with you, man. JB, how we feeling about this? How critical is this game?
I'm kind of with your Dawgfather on that. It's more like, how they say the litmus test early on in the season. This is more like the ultimate test. You get to see where your team is right now, starting off in the SEC play, which, Georgia had the Kentucky game last week to start off the SEC. We haven't played in the SEC yet. So to have this game right here at home coming up against the big dogs, Georgia, they come on, 2-time. Y'all got 2 of the last 3 championships, so y'all the big dogs. We gonna say that.
And we stopped them last year, or Georgia would have went on.
3.
Georgia would have went on. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So saying that, and I already know you guys, Georgia fans, the Georgia faithful, are going to come to Saban Field at Bryant-Denny this coming Saturday, and you're going to be looking for revenge on what happened this past December when we beat y'all in Atlanta. Now, that was the big, the big ultimate SEC championship game. This is kind of like part 2 right here because, you still got Jalen Milroe versus Carson Beck. You still got a lot of the guys still there, even though we lost a lot of players. Georgia lost a lot of players. This is really a test for Kalen DeBoer, to be honest with you. It's really a test for Kalen DeBoer. If he can go in there and beat Kirby Smart, if Kirby Smart coming to us and then he can beat Kirby Smart right now, hey, man, it's only up.
What a way, JB, for Kalen DeBoer have his not only first SEC game of the year, but his career, like in the SEC, like this is his first year. His first one's against Georgia, Kirby Smart. The only thing I'll say is in our favor, we're at home. I'll say we're in T-Town. Yeah. So I like that. If we was on the road on that one, I'd be like, oh, God, like, dang, Stephen M. Smith, man, how critical is this, man? Or how you feeling about this game going into it right here?
I look at going back to what Dawgfather mentioned. It's kind of a game to see like where you are because both of these teams, Alabama and Georgia, will both be in that 12-team playoff. There is only one storyline that matters in this game, and it's can Kirby Smart get the Alabama monkey off his back? That's the storyline because everybody in Georgia is saying Kirby, the guy on the other sideline is not Nick Saban. You should be able to beat him. Can Kirby get that monkey off his back, or does it become it's not a Nick Saban problem for Kirby, but an Alabama problem for Kirby? That's the one thing Kirby's facing. As of Kane DeBoer, you guys have mentioned it. What do Alabama fans love more than anything? They love to be reassured. Even if they've been assured 17,000 times, they want 17,001. Let me know one more time that Greg Byrne made the right hire. Kane DeBoer beats Georgia, then the Bama Nation can take a sigh of relief, like the movie Wait and Exhale. Bama Nation made the right hire. That is what this is. It's not necessarily critical game in terms of playoff. It's can Kirby have the Alabama monkey off his back versus can Kane DeBoer calm the Alabama fan base once and for all and say, I was the right hire?
So I love that take on that note because I'm kind of on the same path with that. I feel it isn't how critical versus what this means as the hire. right now, because if, like you said, if DeBoer was to get this win, both teams are going to make the playoff. Both teams are going to battle for the SEC championship. It might be it can technically be a repeat. Depends on how the dice is rolling the SEC. It can be a repeat. Say if Bama beats Georgia, then Georgia beats Texas, and then both of those, Bama and Georgia, runs the table. Guess who's playing again in the SEC championship? Boom.
Right.
Or if Bama loses to Georgia and then Georgia still runs the table and beats Texas, like Bama could possibly still get in. Depends on the tiebreaker scenarios. But I think it's more of a solidified DeBoer situation here. Like you just said, 17,001. That's exactly what this is, in my opinion. If they get this win, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be he can coach it. He can recruit it. Like you were saying, another box is checked for DeBoer right there. And it's like, all right, now the only question is, can you withhold it? Can you withstand it? Can this be 5 years? Can this be 10 years? Can this be Nick Saban? Can it be 17 years and rolling? So that's how critical. Now, part two to this. Do you think this affects the college football playoff or the SEC championship game in any type of way? I'm gonna let you lead off on that one, Dawgfather, and we'll pass that one around real quick.
That's a good question. It is a weird situation at this point now that we have progressed.
And hold on
past.
1 second. Have you seen the tiebreaker scenarios? How it has and it's weird. I don't remember all of them, but there's a whole new list of them. I just didn't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah, I know there's head-to-head first and then common opponents and so on and so forth. Have I delved into it deep dive? Not really.
It goes wild, dude. Yeah. It goes wild.
What I was going to say, the weird thing about this season, I'm just speaking from the Georgia's perspective, is the fact that we play Bama and Texas in the regular season. There's a possibility we see Bama 3 times, or there's a possibility we see Texas 3 times. I mean, it's one of those things that's just unprecedented. It's just, you never see that kind of thing. I'll give you another hot take real quick. And I've heard Kirby speak about this, about the SEC championship, and he's not going to say this out loud, but in so many words he has. And I'll ask you guys this. There may be a benefit to not even making the SEC championship. And the reason I'm saying that is, if you don't make it, you're on a bye week while somebody else is sitting in the SEC championship, and that loser of that game is probably on the road to start the game while you're at the house. That's probably a 5, 6, 7, 8 seed the next week. So as much as the SEC championship meant to us prior to this year, I don't know that it means the same going forward at this point.
Hey,
I'm almost with you.
So the piggyback on that, what you just said, just like last year, you guys would have made the playoffs if it was 12 teams, even though you lost the SEC championship. You still would have gotten the playoffs, and it would have been a host of other teams who didn't make the SEC championship that got a bye week, just like you said, and made the playoffs. So I feel what you're saying on that.
And one more thing on that, if you're not one of those top 4 seeds, can you imagine you get a bye week during your championship week? If you say you get the 5 seed, you're sitting at the house that next week against the highest ranked group of 5. A home playoff game against the highest ranked group of 5 is a huge benefit for the fans at your home place, and you know you're probably moving forward. So I mean, it's just it's new and it's awesome. So. And I got to do one more, guys.
Go ahead.
With the 12-team playoff at this point, people ask me what I think about NIL and the portal, that kind of thing. Here's the big thing for me. Having 12 teams in a playoff at this point, I think that helps keeping some of these players from opting out. When you only had a 4-team playoff, these guys were just sitting there wanting to go. They don't want to play in a Blue Bonnet Bowl or the Weed Whacker Bowl or some of that stuff. I mean, in a 12-team playoff, you've got something to play for at this point.
You're right. It makes more athletes play. I think it's better for the game. I think we can add in the bye weeks like they did this year with 2 bye weeks per team. I think that's going to help out with the extra games too. So that's something that's smart too. So JB, but hold up real quick. Something I did want to say though. Cherry on the top though. This being the first year, and this will be the first ever home playoff game for college football of all time ever. So being able to host one this year is going to literally be like iconic / legendary moment in college football. So it isn't necessarily a bad thing if you're 5, 6, 7, or 8, because 9, 10, 11, 12 travel to those teams.
For you.
So, it isn't. Hey, speak about it, not saying it's going to happen this year, but Notre Dame was to run the table and go undefeated. The best they can be is 5.
That's right.
So they would be 5th, and they would set on a week for conference week. They would be 5th, but they would end up going in a home playoff game. So not a bad deal for Notre Dame necessarily. Other than if they start getting bound, I'm not saying they'll make it, but that's the only one you can do that with. I think they're the only team that's not in a conference like that. JB, does this affect the SEC championship? Does this affect the college football playoff at all? And if it does, in what way, shape, and form do you feel it does?
It does affect the SEC championship because you have so many teams. If you look at the top 10 right now, it's about 7 teams that's in the top 10 in the AP poll. Imagine when we get towards the college football rankings and you still have a Tennessee, Bama, Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, Missouri, and you still have those teams. And a lot of them don't even play each other. We don't play Ole Miss. Nope. I mean, we play Missouri. We don't play Texas. Don't play Ole Miss. So, I mean, you could possibly have 4 teams with 1 loss towards the end of the year. So it'll be very difficult if you have 2 losses because you could have 3 or 4 teams above you with only 1 loss. So it's very crucial for the SEC. Far as we can talk about the playoffs, I think it's too early to talk about the playoffs. I think we need to be 9, 10 weeks deep so we can actually see what are the other teams doing. What is the Big Ten? Do they have 3 teams with 1 loss? We have to see what the other players have to bring to the table. But I'm focused on the SEC right now. If we can come out this 11-1, 10-2, I think we'll be fine. But as the Dawgfather said, let's say we lose 2 games and Georgia loses 1 and you have a Ole Miss that loses 1. You have a Georgia Ole Miss SEC championship. Bama sitting there waiting to be seeded for the playoffs.
Bama will be at 5, 6, 7 range right there. 8 at the lowest.
Yeah, it just depends.
8 at the lowest. We would definitely be top 12. We would not be out. Bama to be out the top 12 would have to be probably 4 losses almost, I feel like. And those 3 losses, if we kept them close, I think we could be a top 12 team still. Depending on who they are and what it is, if Bama was to lose to Georgia, Tennessee, and Missouri, all of them are top 10 teams right there. I'm not saying that would happen, but just hypothetically, if that did, you're going to say, well, they shouldn't be the top 12 team because they got beat by 3 top 10 teams and then we're all close games.
That's true.
I mean, that would be a great scenario. Like if Florida was to run their table on their schedule, they would have a bid in the top 12 because of how hard their schedule is. Stephen M. Smith, SEC championship, how is this affecting it? JB just laid a perfect point out right there. College football playoff, maybe a little early for that. I like what JB said there. It could be a lot early for that. Depends on how the conference is going to be. How we feeling, man?
I think it's going to be too early for the college football playoff, but for the SEC, this becomes very intriguing because it would kind of take me back. Guys, remember 2017, Bama doesn't make the SEC championship game, but it got into the playoff. It got into the playoff, and it won a national championship. This kind of makes the SEC championship game as prestigious as it is, and the pageantry and the excitement and what is the SEC championship, it kind of loses luster now because even if you don't get in or if you lose that game, you're still in the playoff. And I'm reminded, during Nick Saban's 17-year run, what did he always say? We want to win the SEC. The SEC championship game is so important. It's so valuable. It's so marquee. Well, yes, the SEC championship game was that way in the BCS era and then in the 4-team college football playoff era. But now in the 12-team playoff era, the SEC championship game doesn't hold the weight it once did. So whether you get in or not, you're still in that playoff. So it affects the aura that the SEC championship once had.
I agree. That's a great way to put that, boy. Like, I don't even want to follow that up, man. Justin, Our man Justin behind the scenes, making everything look great on this beautiful channel. Everybody, look at his beautiful face right here. Everybody in the chat, give him some hand claps. He makes everything look good on this channel.
Well, I appreciate that. A lot of hard
does
work.
all the hard work behind the scenes, guys. Go ahead, Dawgfather. He's got a question for you, brother.
Absolutely. Again, it's an
here.
honor to be able to hang out with you for a little bit, Dawgfather. Like I said, I've been a big fan for quite some time. So I just want to ask a quick question. It's funny how both teams kind of mirror each other. Nick Sheridan is being constantly asked, what's the identity of the Alabama offense going to be? And we haven't really seen very much because you're just not going to show very much against the opponents we've played. But then on the flip side, I want to ask, what is the identity of the Georgia offense? Just like Nick Sheridan, Mike Bobo hasn't really shown a whole lot because y'all haven't had the need to. For the past few years, it's been Brock Bowers and, Lad McConkey, who's excellent in his own right. So given what
They've been good in the NFL too.
No question.
27% target share on this team. That's really good in case somebody needs to know.
Given what you do know so far, what would you say the identity of this Georgia offense is going to be? And then, two, why aren't people talking enough about y'all's wide receivers? I feel like you've got a pretty dang good group, and not many people are looking at them like they should be.
I would say it is still to be determined as far as what the identity is of this UGA offense as of yet. We haven't seen a huge load of Etienne yet. Of course, he was suspended for the first game. Got several backs who have gotten carries in place of that. But as far as the wide receivers are concerned, I mean, yes, losing a Lad McConkey, a Brock Bowers in the draft, those are just guys you don't replace. But credit to Kirby going into the portal and grabbing a guy like Colby Young or a Michael Jackson from USC or a Urachek out of Stanford. Do those guys replace who you have? No. But we all know in the scope of SEC football, recruiting is your lifeblood, but you use the portal to fill in where you may have needs.
Yes.
I'm not going to name any names of who I'm talking about, but his initials is Dabo Sweeney over in Clemson. That flat refuses to do that. But here's the thing. If you're either going to adapt or die in this new age of college football, and as much success as he's had over there, the writing is on the wall if you don't adapt to what's taking place in the scope of college football currently.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a great way to look at that. Justin, thanks for stopping by, man.
Yes,
that's a good way to look at that. And Dawgfather, that's an even better answer right there. We're talking about the identity of that. Bama's somewhat that way too. I'll do this real quick before we let you go, man. I'm gonna do 2 buyer sales, okay? And I want you to give me you buying this, you selling this, and then we're gonna let you ride, okay? So, will Georgia win the SEC championship? You think they're gonna run it all the way? You're gonna buy or sell it? I want to ask it off rip. Do you think y'all gonna get it?
That off the top of my head, I think every team in this conference has a loss before the end of the year. That's number one.
Agreed.
Number two, I don't know if I'm ready to say that Georgia is okay. I don't want to say they're going to win the SEC. I would love to say yeah, but as I mentioned earlier, I don't think it's that big of a deal if you don't in a 12-team playoff. The fan in me says absolutely they're going to win the SEC. They're going to win it all. They're going to win a national championship. The realist in me right now says no.
I get that. I had to ask that one because I get asked that a lot as a Bama fan. And that's an answer where I feel like what you just said. I'm with you. My fan side says SEC championship all the way. But then I'm like, we got to be a better run-stop defense, too. Our run-stop defense isn't the greatest right now. But, that's some stuff that could be adjusted. All right, so buy or sell on this one real quick for me, okay? Do you think there will be 4 SEC teams make the college football playoffs? Buy or
100%.
sell?
Buy it.
Okay. That's a
Buy
quick
it all
one.
day long.
I think JB said 5. Okay.
Yeah, you could go plus. I mean, off the top of my head, Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee, right here, right now, without a doubt.
And then Missouri's going to be
You
lingering.
missed Texas too.
Give me Texas. How did I leave Texas? I don't even know how I didn't say that. That's my bad.
Yeah, definitely Texas. So that's 5, and then Missouri will be lingering because if they only lose to us, the rest of their schedule is pretty cake. They could run the rest of their schedule, and if they do, now Vanderbilt almost caught them sleeping yesterday.
I don't trust Missouri no more. They almost lost to Vanderbilt. I don't trust them.
I turned that TV on. I said it's 20-20.
I don't trust them.
I said, what is going on? But Dawgfather, man, we want to thank you so much for coming by, man. We're gonna let you get to the Falcons.
Thank you, brother.
Man. I hope Drake London has a good night tonight for my fantasy team. I got him starting in a couple leads. JB's going against Mia in 1 lead.
Hey, Dawgfather, treat Michael Penix well and tell Kirk Cousins no more Achilles, all right? No more Achilles, Kirk.
No.
Look,
tell
him if we can keep Kirk Cousins upright. In other words, McGarry over on that right tackle spot will do his job and not get murdered every week. Maybe we can keep him healthy.
If y'all get him one of them chains, Kirko chains don't play now. Y'all get him one of them chains he had in Minnesota, he gonna come out there and throw for 350 and 4 TDs every game. Get him one of them chains.
And let me tell you guys, we're still looking at maybe trying to get over to Tuscaloosa. If you guys see me, come hit me up. I'd be love to give you guys a big dap up while we're over there.
Okay.
Yeah, brother.
Tell the people where they can find you, Dawgfather.
Yeah,
tell the people where they can find you.
The biggest social media I have is _dog DAWG_father. Same name over on Twitter. You can find me in both of those places. If you get blocked on my TikTok, please know it's probably not me. It's probably not me. My moderators put in overtime on there, so just come hang out. We'll have a good time.
I remember that one time I got blocked, and I was like, bro, I don't even know how I got blocked. I didn't even say nothing to him. And then I messaged one of your homies that knew you that was in your lives, and then we unblocked, and me and you got cool. But thank you so much for coming by, man. We'll have you back on. I'd love to do another repeat episode. Either way the game goes, next week will be a good one. I'll hit you up. We'll keep in touch, man. But thank you for stopping by, brother. Everybody, shout out to Dawgfather, man.
Appreciate y'all.
Yes,
Go Dogs.
We'll see you, brother. Yep. So my man came through. It's all respect for the Dawgfather right there. What's up, brother?
You got blocked for saying Roll Tide on his live. That's why.
It probably was, bro. It might have been. It could have been because I've been on his lives before, and I might have said Roll Tide. Yeah. But either way, it's no diss. Like if somebody comes on mine and says "Go Dogs," I don't block nobody. You can say what you want, as long as you don't get, out of pocket and stuff like that. We just talking a little junk. Yeah. I'm cool with that. If you blocked by a UGA fan creator, you're doing something right, Travis. You wild, man. But all right, guys, we're gonna move on to the next topic. This one right here is a good one. Stephen Smith's gonna kind of take the lead on this. Me and JB will fill in. Kane Wommack adjustments. What did Kane Wommack do in the bye week to stop Beck in the run game? So what's been going on in this bye week with Kane Wommack and these adjustments, Stephen Smith? And actually anything else you want to elaborate on in the bye week, throw that out right now too, and we'll kind of hit that with this.
Yeah. One a lot of people have been asking about the injuries that were suffered against Wisconsin and of course against South Florida. Everybody's fine. Malachi will play. Qua Russaw's good. Let's see. Cole Adams is fine. Richard Young looks like he's trending to be good to go. So everybody is set to be good to go in this matchup, especially Malachi and Qua. You need both of those two on the defensive side of the football. And to get Cole Adams back is huge, an extra wide receiver and somebody that was starting in that punt return role prior to the injury. And then, of course, you have Jalen Milroe back there. But when you look at Kane Wommack, to start the bye week last Monday, what did he say? We've only used a small volume of our defense. We haven't touched what we really got. We have entered each game with a lot of defense, but we haven't had to use it. Why? Because the opposition has struggled with the small stuff. I think you are about to see the reason why Kane Wommack left South Alabama to come here. You're about to see all of those intricate, exotic looks, pressure looks that Wommack has built up throughout his career with his dad in this 4-2-5. He never got a chance to use it at South Florida. Why? Because he was the head coach and not the defensive coordinator. So he couldn't call the defense there. Now he can call the stuff that he's created. You are about to see some stuff come out of Wommack's bag. How much comes out remains to be seen. but we're about to see some different pass rush looks. We're about to see some different stunts up front. We're about to see some different stunts with linebackers. We're about to see some things starting this Saturday.
I love that. JB, you want to elaborate with that, man? You got any feelings you want to kind of go with that right here, man? With the run stop stuff like that?
I like that, man. We need some exotic packages, pass rushing, because I feel like that's the best way that you got to get Carson Beck off his spot. That's what a lot of people said about Tom Brady. You got to get him off his spot, because if he sits in that pocket and is able to maneuver around left, right, up, back, and he'll pick you apart. Carson Beck is not a bad quarterback. He's actually a good pocket passer. But if you can rush him and he don't know where it's coming from, that's when you can have him shook. So I think we need to do that. Do y'all agree?
Yeah, and I think this is why, before you go, JT, and I think this is why you look at guys like LT Overton. This is a big matchup for him. You look at guys like Tim Keenan, Jamarian Latham. This is a big matchup. This is a huge matchup for Qua Russaw. Qua and Q Robinson off the edge. This is huge for both of those two. Also, Justin Jefferson. This could be a very good game for him. He is an eraser. That number 15, when he comes across and lights you up, you are lit up. You can ask the guy from South Florida, the quarterback who he hit and got called for targeting, which there was no targeting on that specific play. I got a chance to talk to Ryan Williams over the bye week, and Hollywood sat there and said his welcome to Alabama, he got hit on a pattern by Justin Jefferson and felt it all up in his ribs and everywhere. So when Justin Jefferson hits you, he brings it all to you. So this could be a massive game for Jefferson.
So I'm 100% with both on the D-line and the pressure. That was one of my big points in this game, because what happened in the SEC championship, if you look back, Justin Boybe, that man may not have sacked him every play, but he was touching him, letting him know he was there. Beck might throw the ball, but he was putting his hand on his side like, hey, I'm right here. And then you know what happened that one play when they fumbled? Those things start running through your head. And then you mental errors, man. Fumble, mental error. Terrence Marshall dove right on the ball. That was a huge turning point in the game, SEC championship. Bama got the ball. So those are going to be key moments that we got to make sure that even when, like, you know, Q and Quaid may not get there on the sack, touch it. You ain't got to hit him. Just hand on his shoulder, baby. Just right there. Just hand on his wrist. Don't slap it. No personal foul. That's a mental thing. That's a, hey, I'm right here. Just so you know.
The worst thing you can do is let a quarterback get comfortable. Let him get a rhythm going, especially when he's on the road. You have to be
how he
able
plays.
Yes, you have to be able to take him out of rhythm early. So early and often they need to get there.
Here's the big key here. Even if you do not get the sack, it should be a sellout crowd on Saban Field. Use the crowd.
Yeah.
Use the crowd. Knock the ball down. Bat the ball down.
We have been good at
that. If you can get Carson Beck 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10, big crowd on long downs, that's the big thing right there. Because Georgia's going to want to slow the pace of the game down because they want to run the football. They don't necessarily have an explosive offense. So Georgia wants to cut possessions. They want to run the football, control the clock, slow the game down. If you can get Georgia into a bunch of 2nd and long, 3rd and long, and hurry up their pace, that plays into Alabama's hands.
At 100%, I think this too. If you're in this chat right now, if you're watching this, you ain't even commenting. I don't care. I'm gonna clip this. I'm gonna make another post about this on every social media platform I got this week and post it every day. If you were at the game this weekend, don't sit down. There might not be. You don't need to sit down. You need to be up the whole time. You need to be screaming. If you don't have a voice, you need to be clapping. If you ain't got hands, you need to be stomping your feet. I need something. We need every type of motion that you got needs to be given in that stadium. Boy, they need to feel everything. I'm telling you, that does make a difference, a huge difference, especially like JB said, when they're in rhythm. They play rhythm ball. This ain't like Tennessee. Tennessee can go streaky. They can go 76 yards in one play, 2 plays. Georgia, I'm not as scared about Georgia going 76 yards in one play. But they can go a drive 76 yards. They can get
Death
that
by
going.
1,000 cuts. Basically,
Yes, but
death by 1,000 cuts.
if that audience gets in there, that crowd gets rowdy on them third downs, gets that false start, and it goes 3rd and 8 to 3rd and 12 and 13s and 14. They get behind the sticks. That's where we can get that pressure, I think, with Qua, Q, and in the middle right there with Keenan and everybody in LT. And we can throw in the mixes with more blitzes, and we can pull down Keon Sabb. But also, I've seen they like to get fancy with Sabb. I don't know if they're going to stay like this. This is one of my things I've saw, that they'll bring more down and kind of leave Sabb one up right here. And they'll kind of let Sabb kind of choose where he wants to go sometimes, depending on kind of what they have set up. And I love the way he's given Sabb that kind of freedom, because watch him when he plays. He knows he's watching that quarterback know where that ball goes. And I think if Beck is definitely going to eye it all, I think there's going to be a pick or two by Keon Sabb.
He's a vet. He's a vet. Him and Malachi played a lot of college football, a lot of big games. So they know what to do on that back end. They'll have the young guys ready.
I agree. So, guys, we'll kind of move on to the next topic. That was kind of the bye week Kane Wommack adjustments right there. Really good key points there by Stephen M. Smith. Thank you, brother. That was a great way to break that down. JB, great points about the rhythm, because that's huge, dude. D-line needs a lot of pressure. Keep them out of rhythm. Chat, keep giving them comments real quick, guys. We're pinning them. We're going to come back and get these questions later, guys. If you're joining us, leave us a comment, a question or something. We'll come back. We're going to answer a few of them at the end. Let's move on to our next topic real quick, though. Does Milroe need a Heisman performance? Okay. So what I mean by that is not necessarily for him to win the Heisman, okay, but for Bama to win this game, does Milroe have to be like 350, 100 on the ground, 4 tutties type game, defense, either way it goes? Stephen M. Smith, how are we feeling?
So it's expected to be weather in this game. It's expected to be rain. It's expected to be 60% chance of rain. Now, if that holds true, I don't necessarily think he's going to need to have 350 passing yards. If it's a lot of rain, if he can go 200 in the air, 100 on the ground, 4 touchdowns total, you beat Georgia, I think he's still fine there. But let's say if that rain does not hold and it's a pretty day throughout, then that 350 passing, then that 4 touchdown look there could be really huge for Milroe. Because, you think about this. Right now, if you look at the Heisman, Shedeur Sanders is in there. Travis Hunter is in there. Cam Ward of Miami is somewhere in there.
He's been number one on a lot of them, Stephen M. Smith. Yeah. Cam Ward's been one on a lot that I saw.
Quinshon Judkins of Ohio State's got to be somewhere in there. This is a big game for Milroe, because Milroe and Carson Beck are both in here. This can be a huge thing for Milroe. Milroe goes in there and shows up big time. Not only does he go up in the Heisman conversation, but I've also said this. You're going to have a bunch of NFL teams at this game. There are going to be several NFL scouts at this game. Jim Nagy, the senior executive director for the Reese's Senior Bowl in Mobile, he and his staff are going to be at this game. So this is a shot for Milroe to have an elevated draft stock, not just a Heisman, but a draft stock.
Yeah. This could show, especially if he hits some of them, the accuracy on the short dumps and the middle of the field type game. We know how his deep ball is. He put one in a bucket to Ryan Williams in Wisconsin. You've seen the deep ball throws. We know how that is. But that middle and short accuracy, him showing the scouts, that would be huge. JB, does he need a Heisman performance to win this game? Stephen Smith kind of broke down the weather conditions. How you feel that plays effect with that too, brother?
I wouldn't necessarily say a big Heisman performance. Just don't turn the ball over. Don't turn the ball because he hadn't threw an interception yet. Just don't take care of the football.
And knock on wood right now.
Yeah, take care of the football, make smart decisions. And I saw a comment from Big Bama in the chat said need quick decisions, run north, south, not east, west. Because if you running east, west, those Georgia guys are fast. I know Milroe's fast too, but when you got 3-4 guys chasing you, it's gonna wear you down. Just run north, south, get you 5-7 yards a pop. And I believe Milroe's gonna run the ball about 15 times. I believe he's gonna run the ball a lot this time. Because we've seen the design runs, and I know I said that he was running too much, but hell, this is Georgia. This is the biggest game of the year. If you got to run 15 times, run.
Whatever call you got to call, bro, in this game to win the game, you call it. You pull every trick out the bag you got for this game if you got to.
Yeah. So if he has 15 carries, 100 yards, and he only throws the ball 16, 17 times for $180, if he don't turn the ball over and we win the ball game, who cares about the numbers? Let's just win the ball game.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. So my opinion on this, I think if he does, go off like I was saying and does have this type of game against Georgia, this is obviously going to help his Heisman odds. But obviously, I'm with JP. I want to win the game. I don't care what it takes for that. I want to win the game. So, Milroe right here with the weather conditions, I wasn't thinking about that as much. Stephen Smith, you put a twist right there on me on that one about the weather. If it is raining, guys, but hey, that don't scare me though, because you can get some Justice and Jam on the same time on Saturday, if that's what you want, baby. And then mix in Milroe in that too, because Milroe's gonna get some design. You just said it, design runs. That's something I think that is huge with the play calling this year. With that'll help his Heisman performance if it does in every game. The design runs, he's getting like 6 to 8, no matter what design. Now he's getting some scrambles in there too. He's turning into some stuff, but he has designed about 6 to 8 every game, and
that's different. We didn't see a lot of that last year.
Oh, LSU we did, and then we just
LSU. LSU game.
And we turned the light switch off after that. We just turned it off. It was just like, nope, don't do that again. We was really good. Don't ever do that again. Like, oh my gosh, man, Tommy Rees, boy. Ooh.
This is my last part on this point here. I think more so than Jalen Milroe in terms of a Heisman performance, this is a game for Nick Sheridan. How much can you create as the OC? We talk about Kane Wommack, but here's Nick Sheridan earning his paycheck. How much do you create as the OC, freeing up your best players offensively to have a field day? Like, what has Nick Sheridan drawn up this week coming up here in practice? What has he thought about over the bye week? But what is he drawing up to start this week in practice saying, I can create space for this guy. I can have a favorable matchup for this guy. I can get this guy freed up on Georgia's most liability player. I can create this right here for Jalen Milroe. Now, what has Sheridan shown, and what will Nick Sheridan show to have the Alabama offense go, ooh, that reminds me a lot of Sarkisian. Ooh, that reminds me a lot of Lane Kiffin. Ooh, Sheridan was a good hire. Sheridan was a really good hire with the way he's able to create here. So how does Nick Sheridan manipulate and take advantage of this Georgia defense?
And I think that'll be a key point right here, Stephen F. Smith. Huge key point with the play call on there. And then also with what Shepard does with the wide receiver core will be fun to watch too. With the
I ain't worried about that. Shep got that juice, man. I ain't worried about that.
Check this out, Stephen F. Smith, real quick. I'm gonna mention wide receiver core, but I'm gonna put a pin real quick because I'm gonna let JB let everybody know who we sponsored by while we take a quick little pause, real quick. Let the people know, baby, and what they need to have at Saban Field at Bryant-Denning Stadium this Saturday, waving at 6:30.
This is what you need to have. You need to get you a title towel, man. So everybody who loves the acrylic towel like we do, support your favorite team. Go to Go to whitwillsports.com. Use the promo code standard. Get you a nice discount. courtesy of your favorite Bama network, the Bama Standards.
Yes, sir.
Get you a title tower today, ladies and gentlemen.
Get one today, guys. Get one today. People were asking on my video where I got the towel from. That's where you get it from, guys. We'll get you guys taken care of. Speaking of wide receiver core, let's pull that pin out. Boom. And now we back into it. Kendrick Law. I think this is the game, baby. Give it to me. Give me one of them 2 claps and a Ric Flair real quick, everybody. Give me one of them. Boom, boom.
Woo!
Woo! Kendrick Law is going to go off in this game, in my opinion. I think this is going to be when you crack the seal, when you pull it off. I think that's how it's going to be this game, bro. No Diddy on that for anybody that wants to try to hit that in the comments.
Now,
how you feeling, Smith?
The way Kendrick blocked in that Wisconsin game.
Yes.
The way he blocked and how physical he was on that perimeter, he has opened himself up for this opportunity. Because I feel like Georgia is going to do everything possible to have Ryan Williams have a quiet game. Which, if you try to force Ryan Williams to have a quiet game, here's a shot for Kendrick Law right here.
That's what I'm thinking.
Here's a shot for Kendrick Law right here. Here's also a shot for guys like Kobe Prentice, Jeremy Bernard as well. But I think Kendrick Law could have the biggest show here because it goes back to, I think Nick Sheridan is going to create a lot for Kendrick. Sheridan talked about it on last Monday. He said Kendrick Law is one of our best players without the ball in his hands. And it just shows you what an exceptional football player he is because when he doesn't have the ball, he remains engaged. So I think because of that selflessness that he has shown, I think Nick Sheridan is going to create several opportunities for him to get the football and for him to make plays with that ball in his hand. So I wouldn't be shocked if he has a moment where he could have a kickoff return touchdown, he could have a receiving touchdown, he could have a moment where they line him up in the backfield and he take a handoff from the quarterback and go for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I love all that. And that's kind of my take on it too. So I ain't even gonna really say mine too much. I feel exactly the same way on that. I think it's gonna be they're gonna put the 2 high lot. You're gonna see 2 high lot in this game because they're gonna try to take away Williams, especially in the play actions. JB, how we feeling, man? Kendrick Law takeover right here, baby. Is that what we doing?
I ain't gonna say takeover. I think he gonna do what he got to do to get the job done. And you're right about them putting the 2 high safeties. I think they're gonna try their best to take Ryan out the game, but Jalen's got to be careful throwing the deep ball with the safety back there. Don't try it too much because Georgia's smart. One thing that they're gonna be smart. They're gonna be trying to take away the deep ball. We're gonna have to nickel and dime our way down the field. And Kendrick Law is the perfect option for that because if you have guys going out on these patterns, you can sneak Law in for a crossing route. You can throw in the ball, him lining up, coming out the backfield. He can just get the ball in his hand and he can make a play. Now, I was saying he was going to be the playmaker, the beginning of the season. He hadn't done much, had the 1 touchdown in the first game. He hadn't touched the ball a lot. So I'm with you guys. I think he will, I ain't going to say take over, but if he gets the ball in his hand 4 or 5 times, he could possibly get some big first downs, make some big plays. But his blocking has been incredible.
And going back to what you said, JB, about Georgia's not going to get the deep ball, it goes back to my statement on these NFL scouts at this game. Yep. Here is a perfect chance for Jalen Milroe to show how much he's grown in the short to intermediate. Here it is. You're going to have every NFL team at this game. I can probably guess it's going to be 15 of the 32 teams at this game. It's going to be half the league. Yep. It's going to be half the league. It's going to be at this game. And they're going to want to see how much better has Milroe gotten in the 10 to 15-yard variety. If Milroe goes out there and puts on a clinic that he's improved in that area, a whole bunch of NFL scouts are going to leave Bryant Denny going, we're moving Milroe up on our board.
Mm-hmm. And pull Don Parker up real quick. Was it Don, Justin?
I think it was Don Parker with the super chat.
Yeah, pull it up real quick. I like this one.
My
Games
boy.
like this are why you come to Bama. This is also why it's important to play to a standard. Regardless of opponent, you ain't up for this one, then why you sign up for that in the first place? Roll Tide roll. I'm with you 100%. This is the game. This is why you came. It's 6:30 p.m. College game days in town. Nick Saban's picking for the first time for or against Bama, possibly. Who knows? Pat McAfee's here too. We know how that went last year. I got a video on TikTok right now that I randomly just posted. It's at like 400,000 views of Pat McAfee. It's going wild right now. So Pat McAfee take over on everything. So if you ain't hyped for this one, bro, I don't even know what to say. I'm lost. Even as a fan, if you ain't hyped for this one, boy,
I'll say this. I go back to what day was that? I go back to Friday, this past Friday. I'm talking to players this past Friday. Josh Cuevas, transfer tight end from Washington, who caught the touchdown pass against Wisconsin. They asked him about the Alabama-Georgia rivalry. The man said, they're a good team. We respect them. But I'm going to tell it to you like this. We're going to come into this like it's Alabama football. They got to play us, too.
Yes,
Josh Cuevas, they got to play us. So the Alabama football fan base, the Alabama football players, they already have got the full understanding of the coaches don't have to say nothing when it comes to this game. These guys are 100% prepared and ready to go.
True that. 100% with that too, Stephen F. Smith. Real quick, Justin, we're going to run through some questions, guys. I'll lead us off, JB next, and then Stephen F. Smith. Justin will just kind of pop them up. We'll kind of answer them. We'll go one by one and then get them through. Let's see. We got about 9 minutes left. Let's see. So my question is, how much pressure is Kirby under compared to DeBoer, first-year coach in the SEC? Great question there, Jeff. And thank you guys for these questions again, guys. Real quick before we even start this segment, thank you guys for commenting these questions very much. Jeff, so is it the same pressure? I think DeBoer's a little bit more. I'm gonna tell you why. Saban just retired. He's taking over after the GOAT. I do think there's a little pressure. Do I think it's his job pressure? No, I think he's got job. Either way, the coin flips this year. But I do think it's a little more pressure for DeBoer than Kirby, because I don't think Kirby I think he had some pressure, but also it wasn't as much. Like Saban was still running at that point. Nobody was expecting him to go dethrone him. Like right now, I would say DeBoer's is more following up the GOAT.
I like your thought, JT, but I'm gonna flip it. I think it's more so pressure on Kirby. And the reason why I feel it's more pressure on Kirby, Georgia fans, they don't care. They want to know, can you get this Bama monkey off your back, bro? Like Georgia, look, since 2007, Georgia's played Alabama 10 times. They're 2-8. 2-8.
Hey, if you look at all the way back to 91, they are 4-12.
There you go, 4-12.
To
you
91.
Look at it. During Kirby's time against Nick Saban, he was 1-5. So the Georgia fans are like, Kirby, you got to win. If you don't, Alabama is a thorn in your side. And those Georgia fans are not going to sit pretty with that. They are not. Despite the fact that they've won 2 of the last 3 national championships, in their mind, it's Bama's got mind control on you, Kirby, if you don't win. Bama is in your head, and they got total mind control on you, dog.
Tell them. They got mind control on Debo.
If you do not win this game. Like, it's way more. DeBoer, honestly, DeBoer comes in here loose. In my opinion. He's just got a chance to get all the folks to say, hey, you was the right hire. Kirby Smart is, I'm walking on Saban field. The man I sat under for 9 years. The man I took the blueprint from to Georgia. And he's going to be at this game. And if I can't beat this dude who is not Nick Saban, Bama's got ninja mind tricks on you.
Hey,
I want Saban to walk up to Kirby before the game, dap him up, get it real close to his ear, and say, "What's your heart beating for?"
Hey. So let's
You're a
run
little
these next
nervous,
few
huh?
questions real quick. Let's just go. JB,
Give me the
you
next
just
one.
answer the next, and then
Oh,
Stephen
what's up,
Smith do the next.
Antoine?
Yeah, one at a time. Let's bust them off.
All right, this is Antoine. Does Kirby get 35 plus hung on him, though?
Ooh.
I don't know, man. I'm more on a 28 to 31-ish, a little bit less than 35.
Okay.
I don't know. That's a good question, though. If he get 35 plus hung on him, it's a problem.
Run the next one, Justin. Stephen M. Smith, you on right now, brother? You see that one?
Let's see here. Do you guys think Kirby is slightly nervous about facing Coach DeBoer for the first time, or vice versa?
Ooh.
I don't think DeBoer is nervous about facing Kirby. However, I think Kirby is nervous walking into Saban Field and knowing that I gotta win. Like I can't drop this game. No matter what the score is, I can't drop this game. And that's why I feel like Georgia might come out a bit tight, because that pressure of I gotta win. And
they didn't look too good on the road tonight.
Yeah.
I didn't run the next one for us, Justin. Do you guys think Milroe win the Heisman? Hey, we just talked about that, kinda. I'm a full believer of Milroe winning the Heisman right now. Spitting off some stats, he has 590 passing, 14 total touchdowns, 156 rushing yards. JB mentioned earlier, the picks none. The fumbles we are going to have to watch out for. I've seen some loose balls. We've got some back. Let's watch out for that. But I do think Milroe wins the Heisman. Put a stamp on that one. What's next, Justin? Run them.
Awesome. Don Parker, question to the panel. Should we be concerned about the secondary and stopping the run game? Secondary, I believe they will be fine. Stopping the run game, maybe a little concerned. I'll be a little concerned about the run game just because of what's happened the 3 prior games until we got here. But I think the secondary will be just fine.
So I'm with you 100%. Run that one. I like that, JB.
All right, we got Bama. We got Bama. Roll Tide. What happened to Jeremiah Alexander? Jeremiah's fine. I know Jeremiah got a little bit nicked up, banged up in fall camp. He's fine though. That inside linebacker room is just deep. It's just deep. You got D-Law in there. You got Campbell in there. You got Justin Jefferson in there, and those 3 are perceived or looked at as starters by Kane Wommack. Then you have Jeremiah Alexander and Justin Okonrokwo, and then you got QB Reese in there as well. So and Sterling Dixon too. That is a deep, deep room. Jeremiah's okay. He's fine though.
Okay.
Real quick, Stephen Smith, I want you to take this one because we spoke about Keeley
okay.
last week.
Do you think, Joe Edwards, do you think we lose Keon Keegan to the portal since he's not playing? No, and here's why. There's a reason why Keon Keeley is not playing. Number one, he was recruited by Nick Saban. Now he's in a whole different system with Kane Wommack. Also, keep in mind, Keeley at that bandit spot, he's behind LT Overton, who is better than Keeley is right now, and he is behind Jamarian Latham, who is better right now. Keeley needs to wait his time. He has seen so many guys wait their time. All Keeley has to do, talk to Q-Rob, who's on your same team. Q-Rob waited behind Will Anderson, Dallas Turner, Chris Broswell. Those were some honchos. You had to wait till behind some honchos. And now Q-Rob has his time to shine. He leads the team in sacks right now. So I think if you're Keon Keeley, wait your time. We know your talent, but wait your time. I think he's going to be fine.
Good question, Joe.
This one's going to be one of my favorite.
My dog.
Do you think Saban gives Alabama some rat poison and picks Alabama just to get Alabama's attention more? I'm kind of with you, but in a different way. I believe he's going to pick Bama based on this. I don't think he's going to pick against Bama in Tuscaloosa. I don't think that happens. I don't think it happens. I think Pat's going to do his thing. Obviously, we know how Pat gets down, man. He makes the show. Love having Pat on and doing what he do. So, I think Saban does pick Bama. I would say yes. I would buy that if you're selling that on a buy or sell. I would buy that.
Bro, I think he's picking Georgia. I think he's picking Georgia.
Oh, you think he's picking Georgia?
Yeah, I think Saban's gonna pick Georgia. Yep.
All right, we got two more guys. JB, hit this next one for us, brother.
Don Parker with the $5 super chat. I think people got it twisted. Kirby's gonna be ready. My question is, will Bama's coaching staff be ready to put players in positions to succeed?
Ooh.
That's a great question. So I believe the coaching staff will probably be under more pressure than Coach DeBoer because they are in positions to lead. You have to put guys in position to succeed. So it makes a lot of sense. Don, I think Kirby will be ready. He's gonna be a little nervous at first. I believe that, but I'm not doubting that Georgia will be ready. They will be pumped up, ready for revenge. But you're right. The coaching staff have to put guys in position to succeed.
I'm with you 100%. Run that next one real quick. Stephen Smith, end it off right here, man.
Let's see here. Do you think Georgia has guys on the back end to compete with the wideouts of Bama and Texas? I'll say this. Georgia's got some DBs. Malachi Starks, number 24. That guy is a first-round pick defensive back. They've got some guys in the defensive secondary that can press, that can jam. However, aside from Starks, they do have a couple of guys that can be susceptible to double moves if they are worked the right way. So that's why this game is on Nick Sheridan. Create Nick Sheridan, create ways to where you can get some guys open on some routes. Georgia's got to get secondary, but this is where Nick Sheridan makes that paycheck. Create opportunities for your guys to get open on that Georgia secondary.
I want to see Ryan Williams in different routes too. I want to see Ryan Williams come across the middle and stuff like that too, man.
I agree 100%. JB, man, let's end the show off, man. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. JB, let the people know where they can find you at, my brother.
You guys can find me on Twitter at young_ENT_. Also follow the YouTube channel, Sports Talking with JB. Have live shows Tuesday nights and Wednesday night. We cover Alabama State football, and we talk all things college, pro, and whatnot. But yeah, and find me every Sunday right here with the guys on Sunday night talking Bama.
Stephen M. Smith, let the beautiful people know where they can find you at, brother.
I can find me on X at Coaching M. Smith on X. I can find me touchdownalabama.com. That's the site there, touchdownalabama.com. We're covering all things Bama football. They can find me on YouTube within my own words every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 Central. For TDA, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They can find me here on Tuesdays at 6 with the Bama Standard with Justin Riley and the rest of the gang. Steve Brown being the star of the show, Marvin Constant, Gerald Smoke Dixon, and I float around just somewhere, floating around in there. And then they can also find me here talking Bama on Sunday as well. You can also find me all next week on the campus getting interviews from coaches and players as they are getting ready for the big matchup here. So I'll be right in there getting questions with the board, getting questions with coaches, getting questions with players on just the temperature in the room for this game.
Okay.
I love it. I love it.
And you can find him in the deacon chair if he's not on
well,
deacon chair.
And you can also catch 5-star defense lineman Justice Terry in T-Town this Saturday. Big recruiting weekend for Alabama, guys. If Alabama is able to pull this win off, look for a major shakeup in the whole recruiting arena. You can have people making knee-jerk reactions, jumping back to Bama, or people leaving other schools and coming to T-Town. So it's going to be one to watch, but then also two, God forbid, if it doesn't go in our favor, what's the reaction of the recruits then? So you got a lot invested in this game.
Also, I'm gonna try to find a way to have Don the Deacon chair at the game. trying to find a way to get the chair, at the game. Now, somebody actually wants me to call some plays from Alabama from this chair at the game. So I gotta find a way to get the chair on the sideline. We might have to do a GoFundMe. We might have to do a GoFundMe to have me in the chair
If
on
I
the
see the scoop on the
sideline.
camera go
Hey,
down
look,
like
look,
that,
look,
and
look,
Steven
look,
has the headset on,
for real. Me with the
talking
headset with the green dot and me at the game
Hey.
in the chair calling the offense from this chair.
I'm gonna be the videographer. Call me. I'm gonna be on the scoop downside, getting the good angles. Hit them, run up, hit them.
Be
Mic
like
checks.
Be like Stephen M from the Deacon chair. We're gonna go 45 flanker, X white, dagger.
I'm gonna have a chair off to the side. I'm gonna say, camera one, shoot. Camera
Get
two,
the
ready.
chair.
Camera
You gotta
ready.
get him
Camera
in the
ready.
chair. You gotta get him in the chair.
In the chair now. In the chair now. JB, tackle him. He's trying to jump the fence, get an autograph. But yeah, guys. So y'all, thank you for joining us tonight. And a little bit of our madness right there at the end. A lot of fun stuff going on this channel. Make sure you check all the shows out, guys. Tuesday, the flagship show. We heard it said Tuesday. And then right after following that, you got the final whistle. Monday. I cannot forget Monday's show, man. Dang, I'm forgetting Monday's show with Daniel Petty. Daniel Petty on the opening kick at 7 p.m. Central, or is it 6 p.m. Central? I cannot remember. Sometimes I get
That'd
the
be
time.
7 p.m. Central. And again, tomorrow night for the Georgia fans who may still be watching in the chat, George Foster, Georgia legend, will be the guest on that show tomorrow night. And then for us, we're going the Georgia thing. We're trying to get a perspective from the other side. Charles Grant, Georgia great and NFL veteran, will be there. Oh, I just got confirmation. Got too much Georgia guys, right? You know what the Bama Standard's going to do for you on Tuesday night to offset all this Georgia nonsense?
What's that?
Roman Harper is going to be the guest, our second guest on the Bama Standard this Tuesday night. Check us out, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And for the older fans in the chat, Wednesday night, the Crimson Dynasty is going to be a treat. 30-year anniversary of the 1994 Alabama versus Georgia game. Alabama won 29-28. And a representative from the Alabama squad, Todrick Malone, wide receiver who had some burners, is going to be on. And more notably, he's the guy, if you go back and watch that game, I recommend anybody to do that on YouTube. You can see him burning Kirby Smart. So he'll be talking a little bit about that. We got a full week of great content. Give it up for these guys right here. They did a phenomenal job.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one. Justin in the show, man. Y'all have a good one. We don't give a piss about nothing but the time, baby. Throw the nails up, baby.
Roll Tide.
And hey, Fromm, I'll be sitting next to Sheridan.
Roll.